Alright, so here's the next video of our trig and triangles. We're still working with the cosine rule, however this time we are going to be finding the missing angle. Now, again, good news. We are given the angle version of the cosine rule. So unlike the sine rule, we don't have to do any little rearranging. And we could prove how this rearranges, however I'm not going to go over that in this video to try and keep it shorter. So let's just jump straight into it. So the first one we've got calculate the size of angle BAC. So again, A is still the important letter. A must be where my angle's at. BAC, that is this angle in here. And yeah, that angle is still going to be angle A, so I don't need to change my formula. So writing down my formula quickly. So the B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2BC and labelling my opposite sides. And then I'm going to do my substitution. So cos A is going to equal that 15 squared plus, not 15 squared. My B is that 30, so 30 squared plus 20 squared minus 15 squared. And that all goes over 2 times that 30 times the C. Then the next thing I like to do is I do like to put everything that's on the right hand side into my calculator, so it does all my simplification for me. This is because usually this is one of the marks having the simplified fraction, so I always like to just do it. So that gives me an answer of 43 over 48. And then at this point here, I know that cos A equals this. However, I want to just find out what A is. So I'm going to do that inverse cos of that fraction. So the inverse cos of that fraction gives me an answer of 26.38 degrees. Okay, right, let's take a look at the next one then. So next one here, I've got determine the size of angle EFD. So EFD, that is this angle down here, where the F is. And then keeping in mind of what my formula is, so the formula is that cos A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared, all over 2BC. A must be where my angle's at, so that F can become an A, and the E and the D can be my B and the C. Again, doesn't matter what way round I put it. So labelling the opposite sides, so that's going to be my A, that'll be my B, and that'll be my C. And then doing my substitution. So that'll be 18 squared plus 17 squared minus the 10 squared, all over 2 times the 18 times the 17. So putting that into my calculator, so it simplifies the fraction for me. And that gives me an answer of 57 over 68. And then from there, I can just find out A by doing the cos inverse of that fraction. And that gets me a final answer of 33.0457 and so forth. And so if I was to round it to 2 decimal places, that would be 33.05 degrees. Okay, so those are 2 straightforward ones. What I've got now is a little bit of I say problem solving one, but a slightly different type of question that could be asked. So this time we've got calculate the size of the smallest angle. So I've got a triangle here. It's not saying which angle exactly it wants you to find out. You need to find the smallest one. Now there's 2 routes we can go about it. We can either A, find all 3 angles and then just make it clear which one is our smallest one. Or B, there is a method to identify which one would be the smallest. We're actually going to quickly go with A, and then we're going to look at our answers at the end and see, right, what can I notice which would help me identify what the smallest one is, or even what the largest angle is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work my way around and find out each angle. So I'm going to start here with the R with the PRQ angle. So angle PRQ. Now when I do all my sort of rearranging, so that can be my A, that could be my B, and this can be my C, and labeling the opposite sides. So I will have to be changing my A around each time I'm doing this. And what I'm probably going to do is I am probably going to just do one fully, and then I'll just sort of write up the substitution and the answers for the other two. So that cos PRQ is going to be that 500 squared plus the 102 squared minus that 430 squared all over 2 times the 500 times that 102. So putting that all into my calculator, well, the fraction part anyway, so it can start the simplification. And that gets me an answer of 1,573 all over 2,125. So then just the angle PRQ would be the cos inverse of that fraction. Which gets me an answer of 42, and I'm just going to go straight away into my rounding here because I won't have a lot of space to do all my sort of writing out, but 42.25 degrees. So that's my first angle, and then I would keep sort of swapping around my A, B, C's to work out the rest. So that's PRQ. If I wanted to find out the RPQ angle, when I do my initial substitution, this is what I have. And I'm just going to do the initial substitution and then the answers, just because you can already see I'm struggling for space. So doing my substitution, that would be 102 squared plus the 430 squared minus the 500 squared all over 2 times 102 times the 430. And when I do all my rearranging, I'm putting it in the calculator and doing my cos inverse, that gets me an answer of 128.57 degrees. So then my last one, my angle PQR. And again, I could put this in the calculator or I could use my knowledge of triangles. I'm just going to do the substitution in the calculator so we can look at some key bits. I'm just going to shift this a little bit over. So then doing my cos PQR, that would just be the 430 squared plus 500 squared minus the 102 squared all over 2 times the 450 times the 500, and then that would come out for my answer there as angle PQR is 9.18 and 9.18 even. So that is my smallest angle. So I'll make a big point about that. Draw a circle, underline it, make sure it's clear. That is my smallest angle. So that's one method of going about it where we can find all the angles to find out which one is the smallest at the end. Or, within this case, if we think about the smallest angle, the opposite side, so the opposite side to it, in this case, for my smallest angle, it's the smallest of the three sides. So the smallest angle is always going to be opposite the smallest side. The largest angle is always going to be opposite the largest side. So that's one way that you could identify and go straight away into this substitution here, where you just have the smallest side as your A value. Okay, let me know if you need any extra help or if you have any questions, and good luck with the work.